All right, so before I get into today's story time, I'm going to give y'all a quick little disclaimer that I do not condone any drug use, alcohol, whatever. And I'm currently sober myself. I'm a little out of breath. I just hit a little calisthenic workout. But anyways, obviously a couple years ago when this story was taking place, I was not sober. But I had the same goal basically of sobriety and was successful for a few months. And needless to say, I ended up failing. I ended up relapsing. And this story takes place, I had only smoked a handful of times after the relapse. So my tolerance was still really low. But at this point, I decided to make some edibles. I picked up from my plug. I got I want to say a quarter ounce. Yeah, it was a quarter ounce of some good gas, pressure, if you will. And I decided to make it into one stick of butter. So at this time, I was visiting my mom's. I think I had spent the night. And so I wake up in the guest bedroom and get straight to work on these edibles. She heads off to work. She hates weed. So I figure I'm going to take advantage of her being gone. When you make weed, edibles rather, you have to decarb it, which is a process where you bake it in the oven, which causes the entire residence to smell of reefer. So figured I'd air it out by the time she got home. I was wrong. It still had a very strong aroma of cannabis wafting throughout the facility. So she was pretty pissed about that. But I condone respecting your parents. That was definitely an L on my part, but at the time all I cared about was getting high. Well, I wouldn't say all I cared about, but that was the mission. That was my laser focus at that point. So anyways, I did successfully make these edibles. It was about evening time by the time they were ready, and man, I was excited. I started digging in immediately. I didn't make them into any brownies. It was just butter. As weird as it may sound, I was just eating butter by itself to get high. And so yeah, I started off small. I was not about to make the rookie mistake of scarfing down like half the batch and proceed to lose my mind for like 4 hours. So I was taking it slow. The highs were nice, but not anything I was looking for, being, getting smacked. So I continued to double up my dose roughly, only to be kind of underwhelmed by each increasing high. So maybe about three or four, probably about 3 different attempts of upping the dosage and being disappointed, I decided to either triple or quadruple roughly my next dose. And that's where things began to go awry. I was chilling on this air mattress. I was in this townhouse where my mom lived, and it had 3 stories. And I was in the office room. For whatever reason, there was an air mattress in there. I didn't even sleep in there or on an air mattress, so it's actually a big mystery to me to this day. But nonetheless, I was currently enjoying my high on this little air mattress downstairs, watching YouTube, playing around on my phone, when I noticed this large dose began to kick in. And normally, it's very gradual when the edibles start to kick in, but in this case, it was very intense right off the bat. So I knew I was in for a ride. And at this point, I was starting to get uncomfortable in my own skin, just overwhelmed by the high already. And I was maybe 5 minutes into it. So I decided I can't change the internal state right now. I might as well at least change the external. So I decided to go upstairs and try to interact with my mom and sister. My mom is in the kitchen. I figure, she's really healthy. I'm into health as well. I figured asking her to make me one of these little vegetable green drinks might help me in some way. To which she refuses my proposal. And I am left to fend for myself and make it myself, which normally I would do and had no problem, but I was completely incapacitated at this moment. So I I proceeded to decline her offer of me making it. And instead I was going to go retreat to the upstairs shower to try my last resort at escaping this paranoia and anxiety-induced state of an overwhelming high. But, she stops me in my tracks. Apparently I had made some kind of protein shake earlier that day. I had the blender left in the sink. So she told me, it's been long enough. It's time to wash this blender here. And, this became like calculus. Washing this blender became like a very difficult problem for me to solve. But nonetheless, I decided, I'm not going to refuse. My mom tells me to wash something, I'm going to wash it. So I start washing it, and she looks at me. She's like, wow, you look terrible. What's up with your eyes? She's kind of ignorant when it comes to weed. She doesn't understand why I look like an evil Asian at this point with red eyes. But yeah, this kind of just adds to the negative feelings I'm having during this high. Like, for whatever reason, I mean, it's not the end of the world if she knows I'm high, but either way, I'm already feeling like this is more than just a weed high. Like I'm on bath salts right now or something. And so that didn't help. And, eventually I'm like halfway through washing the blender. I'm just like, hey mom, I'm just not feeling well. I'm going to go take a shower. So, I had to stop midway through. I told her I'd finish it later, I believe. And, so as I'm walking upstairs, or I'm walking towards the staircase, which is quite steep, leading up to the upstairs shower. I say upstairs shower. There's really only one shower, or two showers. They're both upstairs. So I have to tackle this overwhelming challenge of walking up these stairs right now. And so to my left is a TV, and then on my right is the couch for the living room. And so I'm walking past this TV to get to the flight of stairs, which is around the corner. And I just happen to glance over at the TV. And right now, like, my vision is kind of like enhancing, or the intensity of the high sort of quote unquote vision is enhancing. It's like colors are becoming like more vibrant, but in this way, it's like kind of an overwhelming increase in vibrancy and overwhelming increase in high vision, high senses, whatever. And it's to the point now my vision has become like, it's like skipping frames. It's like lagging. And so one frame I'm glancing at the TV, the next frame the TV is like in my face, because I'm now like falling. Like I've now fallen into the TV, and now skips another frame to where I'm now on the ground, just like waking up. I pretty much passed out as I was walking. And so now I'm looking up at my mom. I'm completely confused right now. I'm thinking like, am I like, did I just ingest some, what's the word? Fentanyl laced marijuana edibles. Am I about to die? And my mom's freaking out, like wondering what's going on with her son right now who's just collapsed in front of her. And I just tell her like, hey, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go get some water. So I got up. She's like, you're not fine. You just passed out. And so I'm going to attempt to get some water. I made it to the kitchen. And before I could even pour my glass, I just passed out again in the kitchen. So now my mom is freaked out even more. She has no idea what's going on. She doesn't even know I'm high right now. And my sister hears all the commotion from upstairs, and she's now calling the ambulance. I think I actually regained consciousness to hearing her calling the ambulance. And I keep telling my mom I'm fine. She's freaking out. She's not having it. And, I hear, like, my sister has the phone on speaker, and the paramedics are saying that the police are going to be accompanying them. And I was like, oh, no, just tell them that the police don't need to come. And she tries to tell them. They're like, no, it's standard procedure. They have to. So I'm like, great. I'm in possession of an illegal narcotic, and I'm paranoid out of my mind. I'm absolutely smacked. And so I think a decent amount of time goes by, a few minutes. We're in the city at this time. We're living in the city, so we're very accessible to any sort of city workers, be it police, paramedics, whatever. So they're saying they're going to arrive very shortly, and then it dawns on me, like, hey, maybe I should dispose of my illegal contraband before I get arrested and do some serious time in jail. At least it's not a big deal. It is illegal here, but in my paranoid high mind, it was a huge deal. So, and looking back, they probably wouldn't have even known. It was just in butter form, my THC product. So they probably wouldn't have known. But either way, this like sobered me up, and I'm now bolting up the stairs. It's a good thing I hadn't passed out on the stairs, by the way, earlier. I might have just lost my life. But yeah, miraculously I didn't pass out as I run up these stairs, and I'm in the bathroom. I'm now just scooping out this butter from this little measuring glass cup, and I'm now trying to flush it down the toilet. And I didn't even finish doing that when I hear a bang on the door. It's the police. They're acting like I'm getting swatted right now or something. With the intensity of the banging, it's like, bro, I'm clearly tripping. Like, I don't need all this, but the police, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And I think they actually ended up barging in. I could have been using the bathroom for all they know, but yeah, they barged in. I completely dispose of the paraphernalia just in time, and so now there's just this suspicious glass container with residue in it right next to the toilet, and they're now questioning me. They're taking like a beyond scared straight approach, like yelling, which it's all great fuel to the fire of my high mind right now. And but I ended up telling them, long story short, that I'm fine. I don't need to go to the hospital. They run like a little test or whatever, and they're out the door. And so yeah, that was that. But all that to say, it was a crazy experience, and I have had some great highs in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy smoking weed, but overall, the grass is greener on the side of sobriety. I've experimented with both, and just putting Jesus first in your life is the way to go, man. Like it even says in 1 Peter 5 verse 8, I believe, think with a sober mind, for your devil, the adversary, is walking around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So God's just looking out for our best interests. It may seem fun, but it's really not worth it in the long run. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Just leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.